The air was thick with dust, silence, and forgotten memories. The abandoned house stood like a ghost of the past, its cracked windows staring into nothingness, its walls peeling away like old wounds left untreated. When the officers stepped inside, even the floorboards groaned under the weight of their presence, as though the house itself didn't want to reveal its secrets. But then the silence broke, not by human voices but by the sharp, urgent barks of a canine dog. His growls echoed through the dark hallway, pulling his handlers toward the bathroom at the far end of the corridor. What lay behind that door, hidden in the shadows, would leave everyone shaken to their core. If you believe in the power of kindness, second chances, and the loyalty of animals, then please take a moment right now to like this video, subscribe to Pawsitive Tales, and share it with others who need hope in their lives. Let's spread the power of compassion, one story at a time. The dog's name was Max, a seasoned canine who had been trained for years to detect danger, find missing persons, and sniff out truths buried under layers of lies. But this time, his handlers could tell something was different. His bark wasn't the sharp, command-alert bark of a trained officer's companion. It was raw, emotional, almost desperate. His ears were pinned back, his body tensed, and his eyes locked on the bathtub in the decaying bathroom. The tub, like the house, was coated in years of grime and dust, but something about it made Max lunge forward, claws scraping against its rusted sides. The officers shined their flashlights toward the tub, their hearts pounding as adrenaline surged. What they discovered at first glance looked like nothing more than discarded rags. But as Max barked louder, the officers leaned in closer and froze. Wrapped tightly in an old, dirty blanket was a small, trembling body, a child. She was weak, her breaths shallow, her little hands clutching the fabric like it was the only thing protecting her from the world. Her hair was matted, her face pale, and her eyes wide with silent fear. It was clear she had been hiding there for days, maybe longer. The officers rushed to pull her out gently, whispering words of comfort, though she seemed too fragile to respond. And through it all, Max didn't leave her side. His growls softened to whines, his nose nuzzling her as though he were telling her that she was safe now, that the darkness was over. It wasn't just training that had brought him here. It was something deeper, something only dogs seemed to understand. As they carried the little girl out, her story began to unfold. Neighbors had reported the house abandoned for years, but recently there had been whispers of strange sounds, fleeting shadows, and the occasional broken window. No one wanted to enter. They thought the place was cursed. But the truth was far more painful. The girl had been left behind, a victim of unimaginable neglect and cruelty. She had hidden in that bathroom, too afraid to leave, too weak to call for help, waiting for a miracle that only came when Max's instincts led him straight to her. The days that followed were filled with both heartbreak and hope. At the hospital, doctors worked tirelessly to restore the child's health. She barely spoke, her voice hoarse, her words lost in trauma, but she clung to Max whenever he visited. The officers noticed how her tiny hands would curl into his fur, how her breathing calmed in his presence, how the fear in her eyes would melt into trust only when Max was near. It was as if she believed that if Max had found her once, he would never let her be lost again. The community, once skeptical and distant, rallied around her. Donations poured in, families offered support, and strangers sent letters filled with love and encouragement. Yet the strongest bond was the one between the girl and Max. She began to smile again, a shy, fragile smile whenever she saw him. She started to eat, to play, to hold on to life again, all because she had found safety in the loyalty of a dog who refused to give up on her. Months later, at a small courthouse, a decision was made that would change her life forever. The girl, now healthier and stronger, was placed with a foster family who had fallen in love with her resilience and spirit. But there was one special request. The foster parents asked if Max could remain a part of her life. And so, every week Max visited, his tail wagging wildly as the girl ran into his embrace. He was no longer just a canine officer. He was her protector, her friend, her hero. The officers who had once stepped into that broken house would often reflect on that day. They had entered expecting danger, perhaps even death, but instead they had witnessed life being pulled back from the edge thanks to a dog's unwavering instincts. And in their hearts, they knew it wasn't just about duty or training. It was about love, loyalty, and the unspoken bond between humans and animals. So, whenever you hear a story of a dog barking in the darkness, remember this one. Sometimes what they're barking at isn't danger, but a cry for help that only they can hear. Sometimes they're not just dogs, they're angels with paws, sent to remind us that hope is never truly lost. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Pawsitive Tales, and share it with someone who needs hope today. Your support helps us bring more real, inspiring stories of courage and compassion to the world. Special request to our viewers. Comment below with the words, "Hope never dies," if you believe in the healing power of love, loyalty, and second chances.